I can touch my nose. I can touch my chin.
I've already shown you the most unusual things and phenomena from all over the world. Now, Zhang Rufang, a 100-year-old woman who lives in China, knows how to surprise. She probably didn't do it on purpose, though, because this elderly woman grew a horn on her head. Literally. Back in 2009, on the left side of her forehead, the skin thickened, and then appeared a bump. And then, a very real horn began to grow. Most likely, it consists of keratin, the same substance of which our nails are made. Yeah, a nail in the head. Thank you, nature. Normally, when these are formed on the human body, their length doesn't exceed a couple of millimeters. But Zhang's horn has reached 6 centimeters. It seems that Grandma quickly got used to it and even got attached to it, although in the beginning, the horn prevented her from sleeping. Imagine if that thing grew on your head. And I was thinking, haven't any of her 7 children noticed that she'd changed just a little bit? Alas, most of the time Zhang spent alone, so family members didn't immediately notice the problem. And when they did, it was too late for their grandmother, who refused to remove the horn surgically. Instead, apparently, she began to grow a second horn on the other side. No, seriously, there it is. See it? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find out how she's doing today. Now it's time for the people. In today's video, we're going to look at unique, brave, inspiring, and simply amazing people. Let's go. Su Nang. Many consider a small waist one of the obligatory elements of a beautiful body. To achieve the desired parameters, people invented corsets and learned to remove ribs. But the Myanmar resident, Su Nang, seems to do without any possible cheat codes. Her waist is only 34.7 centimeters, and it's a little wider than it takes to get into the Guinness Book of World Records. At the same time, it's about half the size of what is considered standard. Have you heard about the hourglass body type? Well, Su looks exactly like this without exaggeration. The girl often shares photos of her extreme figure on Instagram, and of course she constantly faces distrust. Some people say she photoshopped it, others say that she's had surgery and constantly wears a corset. Nang herself insists that her thin waist is the result of genetics. No independent measurements have been made so far, so it only remains to take the girl's word for it, or vice versa. Do you think it's true? Macy Curran. If anyone can look at people from the top down, it's Macy. 17 years old from Texas, she grew to 208 centimeters. But it's not her height that got her into the Guinness Book of World Records in 2021. Legs. Macy has just amazingly long legs. The length of the left one is 135.3 centimeters, and the right one is 134.3. And yes, your legs are also different lengths, so don't be surprised about it. Well, in any case, so far, nobody has managed to break this record. A girl's legs make up about 60% of her body, and this is a lot. Of course, with such height and such long legs, there are certain problems. It can be difficult for her to pass through certain doorways, to get into a car, or to choose the right clothes. However, her long legs also give Macy a lot of advantages, especially when it comes to playing volleyball. She's already planning to go to college in the UK and get back into the Guinness Book of World Records, but as the tallest professional model in the world. Well, wish her good luck. Zion Clark. The story of Zion Clark is one of those that is commonly told to show the incredible power of the human spirit. And it all began with the fact that Zion was born with an incurable disease. Caudal regression syndrome is a dangerous genetic disease in which the spinal cord, as well as all lower extremities and organs, stop developing at the level of the sacrum. It would seem that with such a diagnosis, you wouldn't even be able to think about sports. But one day, Zion found himself on tatami. Quite an unusual choice. Surprisingly, the coach helped him to believe in himself, not to look for excuses, and to work out to not 1 but 200%. Today, the guy successfully wrestles and performs in the weight category up to 57 kilograms, and Zion himself weighs about 45 kilos. That doesn't stop him. Also, a young man deliberately doesn't join the category of people with disabilities. All Zion's rivals are the most common wrestlers, which means that he has to make twice as much effort to defeat them. But he succeeds. Moreover, he doesn't stop at wrestling. Zion is studying to get higher education, races wheelchairs, and plays drums. Success in sports and incredible willpower have made Zion famous. And you know, I think it's absolutely deserved. They started broadcasting stories about the young man on national television and making short films. In the end, Netflix producers even bought the rights to a documentary in which Clark played the lead. What could be cooler than Netflix these days? Nayakim Gatwich. Naya Kim Gatwich calls herself the Queen of Dark, and this title really suits her. The girl's skin has an incredibly beautiful dark tint, so unusual that it attracts attention. Now, Naya Kim is a successful model with almost 1 million subscribers on Instagram, but her path to fame and acceptance was very long. Naya Kim's family, who fled South Sudan, had to go through a lot of trials. In the United States, Naya Kim immediately felt how different she was from others. At some point, the girl even thought about brightening up her skin. Fortunately, this didn't happen, and Naya Kim was able to love her unique beauty, then become famous with its help all over the world. Sarah Gertz. People are willing to do a lot to keep their youth as long as possible. At best, it's a healthy diet and self-care. At worst, well, the abduction of the king's daughter? With all this pursuit of youth, Sarah Gertz wasn't lucky. The girl was only 10 when doctors diagnosed a very rare skin disease, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. This disease suppresses the body's ability to produce collagen, so the skin loses its elasticity and premature wrinkles appear. Only 1 of 5,000 people in the world get this syndrome, but Sarah's case is not only rare, but also severe. Her muscles and joints are weak, her skin is soft, dry, and covered in wrinkles. At the age of 20, the girl, according to her words, looked like a 40-year-old. At 26, she was already 50. Can you imagine what emotions that caused? However, Sarah did manage to gradually cope with this disease, and so successfully that she decided to choose a career as a model. In the end, any differences make us unique, and therefore beautiful. The more diverse we are, the cooler. Adrienne Lewis. When you look at Adrienne Lewis, you don't even think that she's any different from the absolute majority of people on the planet. But this is only until the girl opens her mouth.
I can touch my nose. I can touch my chin.
Or rather, until she shows you her tongue, because its length is over 10 centimeters. Adrienne considers her tongue to be the longest tongue in the world, and at the age of 13, she even made it to the pages of a book that collects unusual things from all over the world. Not a Guinness Book of Records, of course, but it's also not bad. She can touch her nose, chin, elbow, even her eye with her tongue. So I'll wait for you to try it yourself. Don't forget to write the results down in the comments. Well, if you're wondering how Adrienne could grow a tongue this long, here's the answer. It's all about genetics and the habit of constantly sticking it out. In elementary school, she even scared away bullies by simply clicking her tongue in their faces. Don't try to repeat that. Seriously, don't do that. Victoria Wright. Vicky Wright, then Vicky Lewis, was only 4 years old when her face and then her life completely changed. A rare genetic disease, cherubism, which only 200 people in the world have, deformed the lower part of her face. It wasn't easy growing up with such an unusual appearance. Not only children, but also adults reacted to Vicky, and by adolescence, the disease got worse. In addition, the girl experienced frequent attacks of pain in the eyes, head, and nasal sinuses. It had seemed that with such a set, you could only shut yourselves forever from everything and never talk to people again. But Vicky did the impossible. No, really, I didn't believe it when I read it. Not only did she stop worrying about the reaction of others, Vicky managed to love herself. And this is not a metaphor, not an exaggeration. When the girl was offered to perform an operation to reduce her jaw, she said no. Vicky says she's used to the way she looks, quite satisfied with her face and even proud of it. Her unusual appearance has only made her stronger. Maria Oz. Unlike many other characters in this video, Maria became known not for her unusual appearance, or rather, not only because of it. The girl creates impressive animated stop-motion videos. It all started with small videos, but the better they got, the more people subscribed. In the end, people started to recognize Maria in the streets, because you've got to admit, her appearance is memorable. Once you see those huge eyes, you'll never forget them. Well, you do know that each person is unique in their own way, and that the more variety, the cooler? Yeah, you know that. Why'd I bother to tell you? Just subscribe to the channel and, oh, you've already subscribed? Have you liked the video? Well, I guess I got nothing else for you. How about a little cat video? We'll see you later.